both YouTube and Twitch up because we want the Twitch numbers. We want damn Twitch numbers. Let's see. So sorry, YouTube. We're gonna delay here for a second, YouTube. Sorry.
Yeah, we're live in both.
Okay,
We're live.
Just a sec. Hold. Oh, son of a. Okay, I'm gonna work on Twitch in a minute. It apparently decided to log me out of Twitch, so that's great.
That's fine.
Twitch logs me out more often than not.
I can.
Yeah.
I can see us. We're fine. We're here.
Okay. Hi, Sinistar. Okay. All right. Goose Fraba. All right. $6 in my right nut. We're not landing in Chicago today on. Hey, I didn't talk over the intro.
That's the most professional.
No, you just
we've
stole
been
my
ever.
taxi over the intro.
Nah.
That's all right. I'll pick you up by your nuts.
Jesus.
Yeah, we're going with all the movie tropes. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Press B to Cancel, your favorite podcast about vehicles. Today, we are talking vehicle games. So planes, trains, and spaceships. I don't think we have any automobiles. Well, we probably do.
Yes, we do.
No, we do.
We do.
We do.
Have to at least have one. That's the rule,
Yeah.
right?
I got you, fam.
But
Oh,
we're
yeah, at
trying
least
to
two.
pick. We're trying to pick games that may not be as talked about as others, and that we definitely haven't talked about, according to ChatGPT, on this podcast.
Yeah, because
Listen,
we need to take
listen.
better notes on what we talk about.
Chat GPT sounds like a 16-year-old child just making shit up. When you're like, where were you yesterday? And he goes, oh, I was doing this. No, you weren't. Well, no, I was. Well, you're right. Okay, I was. No, it's a mess.
ChatGPT
okay.
lies so blatantly it could be president. It's just so
I gotta-
bald-faced, confident in what it lies. It's ridiculous.
I gotta ask you guys: do you guys use ChatGPT with some degree of regularity, like even if it's
No.
like once a month?
Yeah,
no,
every
I
day.
don't want it to know where I live.
I'm
I'm mad it knows I'm in this podcast.
I use it maybe once a month, maybe twice a month, about there. Not a lot. The wife uses it a little bit for work, like she helps it to help her draft up letters, and then she edits the shit out of it. And sorry, YouTube. And
We're
you know,
past a minute.
inputs the relevant information, but I guess ChatGPT remembers how the user speaks to it
Yes.
Yep.
Oh,
and
good.
addresses the user in a certain
Yes.
dialectical tone.
Yes.
It's really wild to see how it talks to my kid versus how it talks to me.
If I
It's
talk down to it, it's going to continue to talk down to me. Or
Which
is it going to be?
like
Which one does it say, hey, asshole, to? You or your kid?
it's like it throws emojis all over his chat. It's
Yeah,
like
really?
hey and stuff like yeah.
Hey, is it the Fonz? Is this Happy Days?
I don't get
Happy
any
AI?
of that. Every so often, it will. I'll ask it something like medical related, just casual stuff. I would never take it as my authoritative source on anything, even recipes,
No.
which I mostly use it for that. But every so often, I'll ask it a medical question, and all of a sudden, be like, because you had your gallbladder removed X number of years ago, this could be a factor. I'm like, what? When did I tell you this?
How do
Oh,
you
you told
know?
me this on 2022. What this? I'm like, okay, thanks, ChatGPT.
Remember, this
Thanks.
thing told us that we
Yeah.
had talked about games and
It's-
episodes that,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
were not
so-
the right title.
For the listeners and viewers, the reason that we're making these jokes about ChatGPT is while we were deciding what our topic was this week, we asked ChatGPT, or a couple of us asked ChatGPT, if we'd talked about specific games, and in a very authoritative voice, it told us specific episodes that we'd talked about a specific game, which were demonstrably false. And
Very
when it
much
was
true.
told it was false, it said, "Oh, my bad," and gave a different episode.
that was
and
also
then-
false.
And then when it was told it was still false, it said, "Oh, my bad, you didn't talk about it." So
Never mind.
crazy.
You didn't say that.
yeah,
That's asking. Did you clean your room? Yes. Why is it still messy? Well, I'll clean it. I clean it a bit.
I was
Did you
working on
actually
it.
do it? No, I didn't do any of it. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
that room. You meant that room I got to
Oh,
clean.
that
Okay,
room.
got it. That's what my daughter does.
Oh.
Oh, my bedroom
at
you want me to
least it-
clean. Okay.
At least if you ask it the hosts, it's accurate these days.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
used to say
That's
it was
true.
like Chad and Steve.
Chad and Steve.
We finally
Yeah,
observed,
you know,
observed
Notable
Chad
Press
and
B
Steve.
hosts Chad and Steve.
the way back press B to cancel before press B to cancel with Chad and Steve in the mornings.
Wow. Shock
Uh,
jocks.
All right, so we're here talking vehicle games,
Clearly.
and we've each chosen a couple, and we're trying to have a little bit of diversity in the type of vehicles. So, which one of you wants to talk about something first?
I mean, I'll go first.
All right, Werewolf, take us away.
All right. So, in the spirit of planes, trains, automobiles, and other
Spaceship.
usually fueled vehicles that we seem to have listed here, I went with a bicycle.
Sure.
To be
And
fair,
I did this because Sinistar said bicycles were fair game.
to be fair, I said it was you can get a ticket as a moving violation on a bicycle.
Yes, and
Get
to
a
be
DUI
fair,
one, too.
we'll come back around to that in a minute. So I picked a game called Courier Crisis. Now, this is not a highly rated game, but I love it. I don't know what it is about this game, but I have an absolute blast. Now, I've been waiting until here to give my one-line descriptor to it as Crazy Taxi before Crazy Taxi.
Oh.
Okay.
So there are 5 maps in this game, and depending on, you get multiple levels. You beat the first round of levels, and then you go to level 2. You beat the second round of stages. You go to level 3, and so on. There's no going back, as far as I can tell. But when you beat stages, the better you do, the more money you get, and they allow you to have it just calls what you have as cash flow. So however much money you've made is how much you can spend on a bicycle to upgrade. And you can start with the lowest end in this. First off, before I get too much further, the game was published by GT Interactive, at least in North America. It was published by other companies elsewhere. But that's because it exclusively features GT bicycles, and it says as much right there on the back of the box. And so the
Product
lowest
placement.
tier bike you can buy is the bike I had as a kid, the GT Interceptor.
Okay.
All right.
This one touches
and
home a little
that's-
bit then.
A little bit, but it's like $320, I think, for the lowest bike, and you can afford it
Right.
outright. But
Right.
you upgrade as you proceed through the stages because you make the deliveries. The more timely the deliveries, the more money you make.
I just
So-
watched a courier punch a lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
out
Okay,
of nowhere.
so-
Doing 90-degree jumps, like he's gonna tire someone real quick.
Sorry to derail. This was literally
No,
just so
that's-
like dunk.
It's like
Yeah,
road rash,
no,
but slow.
that's okay. So this development studio only worked on 3 games: Road Rash, another port of Road Rash,
Okay.
and Courier Crisis.
So they're experienced in,
All
in
of
vehicle combat. Yeah.
See all
Yes.
of that. Okay.
So it's the same engine.
All right.
No. However, it is. I love this game.
It's like Crazy Taxi bred with Tony Hawk on a motorcycle.
Yeah, you're running.
Yeah.
You ride around. You do tricks, and when you do the tricks, it makes you go faster.
People lying on the goddamn.
And you've got 4 attacks. On
I
the
saw
at
a
least
kick.
on the PS1, you have 4 attacks. You can punch on the right, punch on the left, kick on the right, and kick on the left.
So,
And I
so
mean-
it is road rash.
Very
A little bit, yeah. And this game does not hold back because there's
No.
little kids in the game
Oh,
on
yeah, no, I-
skateboards or just skipping down the road, and everybody's just going about their day, and you can attack any of them. with these
Yeah.
So you're
mobile fisticuffs.
So you're Anakin Skywalker on a bike.
It's just,
You could also just run them down as they're in the way. You just
I am a horrible human because just seeing that skateboarding kid just get punted pretty much made my evening. So.
or the little old lady, the grandma there with a purse. He just ran into her just out of nowhere. This is
Yeah.
I've
This is
never
what it's
even
like-
heard of this game before,
This is
and I
what
kind of
it's
want to
like
play it.
driving through Seattle. This is actually very accurate to the
now
city I live in.
wait. Let's get it even closer to that.
Yeah.
There are, like as I said, there are different maps. There's Chinatown. There's Waterfront. There's Civic Center, Industrial, and Skid Row. And in Skid Row, there are, you have all the people walking just around town as you do, except in Skid Row, some of them also have guns. And we're not talking like they're not just walking down the street and then they'll like whip one out and shoot somebody. No, they're literally like holding a semi-automatic, just strolling around with it in their hand, and they gun other pedestrians down.
Wow, this is a game.
K to A.
I mean, is there blood? There must not be
There
any
is no blood. There is no blood.
yeah,
You
that's-
just hear
that's how that
you
works.
hear ta, 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 ah! And you see people fall over. They get run
Yeah.
over by cars, and nobody will stop and tend to you'll see a cop car just over a pedestrian that's already been knocked down.
Oh,
It's
so it's New
wild.
York. It's in New
Yeah,
York.
yeah, yeah.
True to life.
Now-
yeah.
Damn,
If
I'm
you-
biking here.
If you are overly aggressive, and a lot of people see you do it, when you knock somebody down with a punch or a kick, not if you run them over, but if you punch or kick someone, the cops will get involved and start chasing you.
All right.
And you will get busted, which all that does is make you have to start the level over again.
Wasted. This
This
is
is
such
crazy.
a late 90s, early 2000
I
game.
kinda-
Oh,
kinda-
very. It's
Yeah.
got a ton of licensed songs in it.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
I went looking into these bands on YouTube Music tonight.
So you're sure this isn't an EA?
Most of them don't have a presence on YouTube Music. The
Right.
ones that
Huh.
do, their follower count ranges from 50 to 4,000.
Mm.
Nice.
Okay. Well, so
So
smaller
they're not
bands. That's
huge,
okay. Yeah.
But it's like this is absolute. Like the majority of the music in this game is alternative that teeters between punk and grunge.
Right,
Okay.
right,
yeah, that tracks.
right.
So
And
it's-
standard
so
biking, skating.
It's very much a product of the 90s,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
the whole X Games scene and everything,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, considering Road Rash had Rusty Cage as its theme song, right?
right. And Spoon Man and Kickstand.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this game. It's ridiculous. I think the soundtrack is actually pretty cool.
No,
I was listening.
I bet I could name some of the bands on here if I looked through the soundtrack. It'd be pretty.
The
funny.
one that they used the most songs from was Swivel Neck,
okay,
which
yeah,
I
there's
couldn't
something.
find a YouTube presence for. The one
Yeah.
that had the most YouTube subscribers was let me see, who was this? This was 7 Seconds.
I know 7 Seconds. Kevin Seconds. They're based out of Sacramento. I
Ah.
know 7 Seconds.
They also did my
They're
favorite
Alrighty
song,
then.
Hurt. Just a shame they ripped
Yeah.
that off of
They-
Nirvana.
Yes, that they ripped off of from Nine Inch Nails and Nirvana and Kid Rock and Limp Bizkit
Yeah.
and
But-
Swivel Neck.
And Neil Diamond.
And Neil Diamond, of course.
Neil
This
Diamond
game-
is famous for Hurt.
What
Well,
are the
this game
ends
is
stand?
awesome. I really want to play it. I have never heard of this game before. I thought I'd seen it all. But a bike courier game, which has combat and running over civilians and guns in the last stage, is pretty wild. Did this get a sequel
Not
at
the
all, or
last
is it just a
stage.
one and
You
done?
start seeing the guns on level 3 because
Okay,
that's when Skid
all
Row
right.
opens up.
Okay.
You don't have all 5 stages on every level. I think you have
they're
2
tired
or
of your
3 of them on
shit.
level 1. You have 3 of them on
Stage
level
3.
2. You have 3 of them on level 3. You know, and I think it adds more as you go, and it cycles them around. The maps, I feel like they're kind of big for the time, especially given there's 5 of them. I have one major issue with the game, and that is you have no idea what the stats on the bicycles are.
Hmm.
So I was
Is there
trying to
much
do one
variety,
stage on
though?
level 3.
Like, isn't one bike the same as another bike in real life? Like, what's the difference?
Come on.
Wait.
Bulls, you
It's not
can't tell
really,
me
no.
there's a major difference between a $200 bike and a $1,000 bike. There's no way.
Yes,
like in
there
terms of
is.
there
And there's
very
major
much
differences
is.
between
There will be-
skateboards too.
there will
dude.
be
Really?
a number of
Yes.
pounds of difference.
Yes.
Okay.
Weight
Yes.
differences. Yeah.
Pounds, functionality, shape, aerodynamics.
I
Is it a
used to
trick
work
bike?
for
Is it a racing bike? There's different variations.
I used to work for a web presence outdoor retailer, and they had $10,000 rims for bikes.
Okay.
$10,000 rims that literally shaved off 2 ounces from the $5,000 rims.
Mhm.
Okay.
2 ounces.
Yeah. For all
But
our,
these-
for all
but
our
the-
biking enthusiasts out there, we apologize for Jake.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Did I offend the biking niche?
You may have. Is there really a difference between bikes?
No, really. Like, I mean, to a bike career, does it really matter if you're riding a $10,000 bike? I don't think so.
It does.
Seems
I don't
weird
know
to me.
about
It's
a
not like
courier.
motorcycles
In the
where there's,
game, I upgraded from a $300 bike to a $780 bike, and all of a sudden I was going too fast to be able to figure out, like, to be able to control what was going on.
There you go.
I was running into cars left and right, not making my turns, things like that.
Right.
You know, that's
I went from a BMX to a 10 speed.
that is a potential for a future episode discussion. Game upgrades that make the game unplayable.
There
And
you go.
this is literally just like the sixth bike. There's like 20 of them in it.
Yeah.
The
That's-
final
that's quite a
bike you
bit.
can buy for $11,000 is a rocket bike.
As it
Yeah,
should be.
see, Jake,
Okay,
have you
fine.
not seen a rocket bike?
I'm sorry. I didn't think we were playing Mario Kart. I thought we were playing Courier Crisis. Fine.
Canada
There's
doesn't
rockets in the
have
game. That
rocket
makes more
bikes
sense.
for their couriers.
Is the 21st bike anti-gravity capable too? Like, is that the what we're going with?
Yes.
A rocket bike. I thought it was a licensed game. I thought these were realistic brands.
Well, all of them up to like the last 2 or 3 bikes are real bicycles.
Okay, fine.
But yeah, the last 2, one is like just this absurdly designed bike. I don't think it's real. It still says GT on it. And then the final bike is the rocket bike. Also still says GT on it. So,
All right.
Maybe
but
it's
yeah,
a prototype
I
bike.
actually cheated to use the rocket bike once. It's unusable. You can't do anything with it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So this never
But,
got a
yeah,
sequel, right? Just a single game.
Never got a sequel.
That's wild.
It was not rated well. It was only given about 60% here and there.
Well, when you're kicking
with
children
an
in the head.
outlier. Yeah, there
That's
was an
not new.
outlier of like one outlet gave it an 89. But yeah,
That
most
outlet
of
knew
them.
it was up.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
ESPN
I think
magazine.
I don't remember. I don't think what I read
Thrasher.
didn't say which outlet. But yeah, it's. I
Yeah.
think the game is a lot of fun. I love the soundtrack. I remember playing this with my friend as a kid, and he loved the game and the soundtrack. And we would like sometimes get a hankering to like hear one specific song. So you have to
Mm.
like, or you don't want to hear this song right now. So you literally just restart the stage real quick. It just pumps the next track at you. So there's no
Okay.
choosing what song, but it cycles through them all.
Gotcha.
All right, I was wrong about 7 seconds. They're actually based out of Reno, Nevada, but they're close enough to Sacramento. So.
Okay.
That's it.
But I know
That's
7
it.
seconds.
We just
I
had a
know.
lie. We have to post a retraction, people. We're
I fixed it.
sorry.
He did. He
But I
just
know
did the
Kevin. I know
retraction.
Kevin Seconds. He's very popular in Sacramento.
All fans of 7 Seconds and the alternative grunge scene, that's Chard Monk at podcast at pressbtocancel.com. Please send all your hate mail directed at Chard Monk. Thank you.
Sacramento local. Thank you. Well,
Yeah.
not anymore, but I was.
Well, that's fantastic, Wulff. Any other comments on Courier Crisis?
I recommend you give it a whirl. It's
Other than I want to find it and play it now.
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
fun in my
Yeah.
opinion. It's not amazing, but it's a good time. You'll probably at least lose an afternoon to it if you try it.
Sweet.
Nothing wrong with that. That
Sweet.
sounds like a good grab.
Oh, you said you were gonna. Oh, yeah. You said the cops will chase you. I was gonna
Yeah.
say you said you were gonna come around to getting a citation.
Yeah.
But yeah. The
Oh,
cops
there's
will chase you.
also lots of sass in this game.
Okay.
As
Whenever
to
you
be
get
expected.
hurt, your boss will like radio you and be like, "Oh, did you scratch your bicycle?"
Wow.
Oh, that looks like it hurt. You might be losing. You might be looking for another job soon. You know,
How many sick days do I get in Career
constantly
Crisis?
stuff like that.
So,
What's that?
So
In the
How many
early
sick days
90s,
do I
not very
get?
many.
how many sick days? Yeah. So what you're saying is you're Bruce Willis in Fifth Element.
There you go. I
You
have
just
one
had an
point left
accident.
on your license.
You just
You
had an
have
accident.
1
I
point
know I
on
just
your
had an
license.
accident.
You have 2 points on your license.
Awesome. That's great. I will have to. You said this is PS1 or PS2?
It's PS1 and
kid.
Saturn.
Okay. Ooh, both should be playable on the Mister.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
With a Steam Deck.
Nice. Yeah.
Should have guessed it was a Saturn game with Wulff.
Yep. Excellent. Well, why don't we move on to Jake? What's your first game?
Sure. So I hemmed and hawed on picking a card game for this episode, and I was kind of torn between a few different games. I wanted something I could talk about, so I ended up settling on Rad Racer, which I know from everybody's favorite 80s movie, The Wizard, starring a adorable heartthrob Fred Savage, where he had to play Rad Racer, and the villain of the movie played it with the power glove and said, "It's so rad," and all this. Anyway, that's where I know Rad Racer from. This game sucks, but I'm going to say that right now.
Say the movie also features the lead singer of Kyle O'Reilly. If we're really going to talk music this episode, I'm all
Tobey
over it.
Maguire is also in this movie, so it's a great movie. We're going to sit and talk about The Wizard for the next 10 minutes. It's fine with me.
He went
Rad-
from Nintendo to Atari Lynx. This movie drove him away from Nintendo.
I mean, do you blame him?
It's a good movie, though. TMNT, Mario Brothers 3, come on.
Yeah, it
do
had Mario
you,
Brothers
in the
3
same
before it was released.
breath, say Rad Racer sucks, but The Wizard is a good movie?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Okay. Okay.
Let's
So
follow
I
this
played-
logic path.
I've played snippets of Rad Racer over the years, and I'm like, okay, it's a racing game. I've never been a big fan of racing games, partly because I'm lousy at these games. But I've played a few since the last time, and like I tried like Turbo Racing, Al Unser's Turbo Racing. That one's a lot of fun. Pole Position. I played a ton of Pole Position on the Vectrix. I love that game. So I've played some lately, and I kind of got a handle on what I like in a racing game. But this one, it's like impossible. You guys have all played Rad Racer, I'm sure. Has anybody gotten
Yes.
past the first freaking stage? Like for those who
Yes.
don't know,
Yeah.
you're a red
Yes.
car. You're on a
Yes.
road.
You know
And
what?
it's rad.
Jake is just taking out his anger on Final Fantasy VII Remake
Right.
It's all
Okay.
pent up.
because Rad Racer is a Square game. So
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess-
we've
Jake,
driven to
wait,
the
wait,
city.
wait.
You see the city in the distance, and it's nighttime,
Jake,
and you're driving.
Jake,
Cool.
I have to point out to you, just like every other racing game, you can't keep the throttle on 100% of the time.
Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
You have to. You have to use the
brake.
brakes.
Yes,
Yes.
but unlike other racing games, this game has a turbo, and you have
Uh-huh.
to use the turbo in order to get anywhere in this game, to make any of the checkpoints. Because the checkpoints in
Correct.
this game are exceptionally more brutal than other racing games, right? Like I'm talking like virtual racing, Daytona, much more easy to kind of just coast through a checkpoint. In this game, no, not happening. You have to use a turbo, but it makes you really unwieldy when you're trying to turn. So you got to be very careful when you use a turbo, and then you got to brake on sudden turns. This game is very difficult to control. Like it doesn't control badly, but I think if you don't play perfectly, you're not going to make it to a checkpoint in time. Like
Okay,
that was my
that's
big
true.
takeaway from playing this past
Okay.
couple days, right? Like
Yeah.
the graphics
No,
are
that's-
great, music's okay, controls are fine, but those checkpoints are so tight in order to keep going through a stage. I couldn't get past the first stage, which is kind of
is-
sad.
What you say is true.
Yeah.
But this game, just like every other, like, I'm going to compare it to Chard's favorite Elden Ring. Just like every boss in Elden Ring, you have to learn the moves. You have to learn the
Yeah.
progressions. And
You do
and
need
I
to
mean,
learn
that
the
is-
tracks.
Yeah, that is the big piece of it is, yes, it does require perfection. It really does. And so it is a repetition game. But I'm telling you, when that soundtrack kicks in and you switch over, and you
soundtrack's
start
great.
on a long straightaway
Yeah.
and you hit that turbo and you're on a straightaway, there are very few racing games that feel truly fast, and this one does for a NES game. It does.
Yes. So that's the one thing I'm going to bring up
Rad
is
Racer, the 8-2 of Jake.
It is.
Because I beat this on my lunch
A2 is
break.
much deeper than stage 1 of
I
Rad
I came
Racer.
home from
You know what?
lunch and I beat this game on my Steam.
Maybe that's what's pissing Jake off is he can beat 8-2 and I can't, but I can beat Rad Racer and he can't.
You've beaten this game?
Rad
Jake,
Racer.
Yes.
Would you like to pull it up
Do you-
now on your Mister and just loop it 5 times GP style for us? Because I think it's impossible to beat this on a podcast. I did want to say, first off, I forgot this was a Square game. For those who live in our rock, Square, of course, makes Final Fantasy. Another game that they make and is a 3D World Runner, which, whether you like it or not, is also a Square game. And it was the same programmer. Basically, they brought this guy over, I guess, with his experience working in, I think it was Apple II games. He found a novel way of making 3D graphics. His name is Nasser Gabelli, which is not Japanese, but he works for
Very
Square.
Italian.
Yeah, he moved over from Apple. They hired him, I guess, from Apple II games to come over and help them make a few games. 3D World Runner, and this one, which the reason that's significant is both have a good sense of speed, and both are one of the few NES games that support 3D glasses, which is the other thing I remember. When I rented this game as a kid, you hit select and it pulls up that god-awful red and blue 3D effect.
Yeah.
Right? But it's neat because in Japan, the Famicom actually had a dedicated device for 3D graphics, like for 3D graphics, and it wasn't the red and blue thing that we get here in the shitty theaters. It was an actual I can't remember the technical term for it, but where
Stereoscopic.
Stereoscopic. Yeah, but it's a
Probably.
different 3D effect on the Famicom than it is here. They kind of just changed it over here to what we had, so that was interesting. And I forgot that 3D World Runner had the same tech in it, which is kind of neat. So Square game. I mean, honestly, I think an episode in the future would be games you forgot were the publisher, because I cannot believe this is the same guys who did Final Fantasy. This programmer, Nesser, actually helped do Final Fantasy 1 on the NES. He's the reason why we have the sliding block puzzle in Final Fantasy 1. That was him cramming it in there as a bit of a gag. So I thought that was interesting. So neat history, shitty game. That's my pick. Rad Racer.
Rad Racer is
Do you
not-
I can't
also
believe you've
hate
beaten this.
Outrun?
Yeah, I was gonna say cruising. Do you hate cruising USA?
Oh, I love Cruising.
Yeah.
Cruising USA is great. But you know what? Cruising USA, easier to meet the checkpoints in this game by far. Even Outrun. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm great at Outrun, but at least I can get halfway through a run in Outrun. Whereas this one, like, I think I got 2 checkpoints in once.
The
if I was
speedometer
lucky.
in kilometers, man. That's
man.
totally in your wheelhouse.
It should be. Yeah. It's in
You
metric.
know how fast you're going. I can't do that math.
It's fast.
Just-
You were absolutely right when you say sense of speed. Bar none, this is the best, I think, sense of speed in an NES game for sure, right? There's so many
This looks
shitty
great in
racing
60
games.
frames.
Yeah, it looks great that way. Like, the graphics are amazing. I want to like this game. It's not my fault. You can blame Fred Savage for this one. I wanted to like this, but it doesn't live up to
Jake,
It's good, man.
his lofty
were you-
expectations in the film.
Jake, were you
Practice.
trying to play this with the Power Glove?
It is that
Rad.
red. I wanted
You
to
know,
like
Rad
this
Racer.
one.
Now
This is my game.
Now I
GP
want
did-
Jake to
Yeah.
try Radmobile and see if he likes
Okay.
that one better.
Radmobile? What is that?
Is that
Yeah,
like the
that's what
GBA
the
version of
Encino
Final
Man
Fantasy
played.
Tactics?
No, it's Sega.
Better? It's just better? No, I'm just as a comparison. Is it just
By
better?
the
Wow.
by the way, when GP got his Power Glove when the retrotherapy was a thing, he definitely played Punch Out with the Power Glove, which is bad.
It's bad.
Yeah.
But I think
Oh, wait,
I
he
think
needs
I
to skip.
remember him playing this with the Power Glove as well. Also bad.
Did he say it was rad?
He said it was rad. Yeah.
I think I'd rather
Now,
play
see,
it with
I-
the power pad over the power glove, to be honest with you.
Power Pad's fun.
I always
on,
thought
sorry.
Rad Racer was like one of those universally loved NES games. I'm surprised you hate it.
It's Jake,
Like-
guys. Come on.
No, but I wanted to like it though. See, the intention was
Not a
pure.
lot of love in Jake's house
Okay.
for games
can-
that we love.
I
It's-
almost took Al Unser's Turbo Racing for fuck's sakes.
The
I
man
set it
still
aside for
thinks
Rad Racer because
that
people would know
balloon
this
fight
one.
is better than Joust.
Balloon Fight is
Yeah.
better than
Whatever.
Joust. And it's also a vehicle
Is-
game. I could have picked that too. Could have picked
I
that.
didn't
true.
have Rad Racer as a kid. I had friends who had it. And I think my grandmother had it when I'd go to her place. But
His
Uh,
grandmother beat
I had
it,
a-
Jake.
I had
Coolest-
a Turbo Graphics.
His grandmother
I had a
beat it.
Turbo Graphics.
Yeah.
And so one of the 4 games I had for Turbo Graphics was Victory Run, which is very much like Rad Racer. I got pretty good at Victory Run, and the skills are kind of transferable there. It looks very much the same as Rad Racer. Plays very
Nice.
much the same. So
I'm gonna have to try
Rad
that
Racer
one
has
out.
better music, but
I feel like
How are the
Knight Rider
checkpoints in
tried
that
to be
one?
Rad
Punishing?
Racer too.
Yeah.
So Rad Racer 2, I actually did try it. It's a lot worse. It's not a good game. It controls it because the controls in Rad Racer are fine. I like the controls in Rad Racer, very tight, responsive. Rad Racer 2 are a lot looser for some reason. I don't get it. Otherwise, very similar kind of game. Graphics are a little bit different, but I think the original is better than the second one.
Huh.
Oh.
I don't know that I ever played the second one.
I can't say that I have either.
I
loved the
am
first
looking
one.
at gameplay, and I can say I haven't.
Okay.
This does not look familiar.
I loved the first Rad Racer. I still love the first Rad Racer. When I spin up the NES core on my Mister, there are a couple like go-to games when I'm like, I just want to play something for a minute. Punch Out is one of them,
For sure.
or the original SMB, Fuck 8-2. Or Rad Racer comes up a fair amount. I love Rad Racer,
Really?
especially like, I love changing the radio stations and that one that's like that. I love that track.
Yeah.
And it made an appearance in a Strong Bad email from Homestar
Yep.
Runner. It was great.
Nice.
Okay.
That was the gotta have the blue hair, right?
Yeah.
That's the
Stinko Man.
that's the 20
Tinko Man,
XD.
that's what it
That's the
was.
20
Man.
XDX. 20 XDX.
20 XD6.
Oh yeah, 20 XD6. Yeah.
20 XD6.
Yeah.
Gotta have blue hair.
Gotta have blue hair and eyes. Gotta have big eyes.
I still say that sometimes when I see an anime
I
character
say
that's
that
like,
shit all the time.
gotta have the blue
Stinko
hair.
Man, people say you're the guy, but I want to be the guy too. Nonsense. You're just a kid. Maybe when you're older.
Yeah. Yeah. So that track made it into a Strong Bad email. It's beautiful. I love it. Now I love
Yeah.
everything about Rad Racer. I even like the difficulty, Jake. I really do.
I want to see you play this game. I want to put on the Wheel of Pain, to be honest with you. I think it's that difficult of a game.
I
Personally,
think we
would
know
like
what
to see somebody
Sinistar
beat
should
it.
stream on the Press B to cancel channel.
Rad
this
Racer?
weekend, just saying.
Do
Yeah.
a few loops.
I'm
yeah.
probably a little bit rusty. It'll probably take me, I don't know, probably an hour to
But you
get
won't
back
up
into
after
it.
the second level and just
Yeah.
be like, this is dumb. But
Yeah, I'll be like, yeah,
You
Jake,
play
you see
Rebirth.
this? You see this? I'm done.
I'm gonna go play Final Fantasy Retro Rebirth Revival.
Look, Rebirth is not a bad game. I'm going to give it. It's not bad. I mean, I'm only 20 hours in, so we'll see. There's lots of
Someone's
room for
drinking
disappointment still,
Kool-Aid.
but Rad Racer.
Episode
Rad Racer is
coming-
fine. It's fine. If you like it, that's great. It's just, I thought I was going to love this one. By all rights, I should have. It's square. I even like 3D World Runner, to be honest with you. That's one of the ones I'll play on the NES course, 3D World Runner. And
All right.
but no, this game, the checkpoints are just too grueling, too punishing. I know racing games are always difficult for me, but this one even more so, and I don't get it. It's really
Yeah.
bizarre to me.
You just have to learn the tracks. I mean, that's really what
Yeah.
it is. It's a repetition game. It really is. So awesome. Anything else to say about the awful game Rad Racer? What's your email address? SickJake podcast at pressbtocancel.com
Sure.
or something.
Yeah.
Jake's views of Rad Racer are not entirely the views of the entire podcast.
Sorry you like bad games. What can I tell you? That's okay.
Wow.
Look,
We could have been talking about Al Unser's Turbo Racing, which has a save feature. It's awesome. It's
Lee
great.
Corvo's petting challenge. Anyways,
Awesome.
Oh,
All right.
man.
Well, why don't we go clockwise? How about I go next? How about so we don't have to like figure out like
yeah.
back and forth. Okay. Well, I am going with a space title, and it's not Portal 2, even though I want to say over and over and over again, I'm in space. I'm in space. I am going with the 1990s, 1990 even PC extravaganza that is Wing Commander. So
I've never
game,
played this.
Okay.
This
Well-
game was like everybody's dream that didn't have a good PC.
Yeah.
Like everybody, this was the crisis of like the early 90s for PC players. People wanted to play fucking Wing Commander.
And honestly, I think really truly, everybody that played it on hardware from that era was getting probably actual gameplay. Now cutscenes and in the the control ship, like that moves smoothly, but the actual gameplay, I think people were getting about 5 frames per second. I'm not kidding.
No,
Wow.
it's funny you guys mentioned this because so I didn't have a PC till I was much older, but my parents split when I was a kid, and my dad's girlfriend at the time had an IBM, and so I used to play games on that. So that's where I played King's Quest, Space Quest, all that stuff. And I remember my dad ended up buying Wing Commander and Ultima for the PC because he saw them in stores and thought they'd be fun to play.
Yeah.
And when we tried to run it on the IBM she had, would not even start. So I had Wing Commander in my hands, but the computer I had at the time could not run it.
Yep.
So it's interesting you say this is the crisis of the time in that it was like really powerful to run. So that's interesting.
Well, and what's really interesting about it is okay. So first off, I want to call out. I didn't realize this until I did a little bit of history of the game. So the lead designer of Wing Commander is a guy by the name of Chris Roberts. Do you guys know that name?
Sounds familiar.
It does sound familiar.
That's the $1 billion sinkhole, money sinkhole. What the hell's it
Star
called?
Citizen.
That's the one. Yeah, that fucker.
Star Citizen.
Aha! There's the connection. Okay.
I didn't realize at the time when I was looking it up that this is the Star Citizen guy.
Oof.
So,
what a fall from grace from Wing Commander to Star Citizen.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So now, but to be fair, one of the tasks they came up is they wanted a space simulator, and they wanted it to look more realistic than a lot of the other games. Previously we had Elite, we had Rogue Commander, whatever it was, I can't remember. But there were a number of space games that they used some early polygons, but they were rudimentary, and they wanted this to look more realistic, so they cheated. And the way that they cheated is they pre-rendered all the ships in all of the potential like directions that a ship could aim, like it could look.
Okay.
And then so basically it's showing just pre-rendered images, and it's just angling them. So it's essentially 2D sprites.
So
that's neat, though. That's like Donkey Kong, right?
Donkey Kong
had
Country
pre-rendered
before
sprites.
Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool.
But I mean, it did make it so that even on I mean, other than the potato that you had, Jake, or
he didn't have an IBM, he had an IBS.
Yeah.
She used to call the IBM compatible, so that was probably my first clue. It was not a legit PC, but that's okay. It's always the IBM compatible.
Yeah. But anyway, so pre-rendered. The whole game is a space simulator. It does have a story, although the first one, the story is only there to really make it more than just, hey, go out and fly and shoot things, right? Now they did add more stories in Wing Commander 2 and Wing Commander 3. Wing Commander 3 notably had an unknown actor, Mark Hamill, in it. I don't know what else he's been in.
Space movies.
Yeah,
Batman cartoon, I think probably nothing.
Yeah.
I think the same as.
Yeah,
He's
nothing
just a
more
space
than
guy.
the Joker. Yeah. But
that was CGI cutscenes, right? Like live action cutscenes.
It was.
I remember
was
those
FMV.
being pretty interesting. Yeah, FMV,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. But there was some background. Now, what's very interesting is, and you can find this online. There is a progression matrix through the story. And there are good paths and there are bad paths. And if you end up on the bad path, you can work your way back to the good path. But on the bad path, they start giving you bad ships to fly. And so it becomes harder and harder and harder to try to, although to be fair, there's a good ship that's absolutely awful because its weapon consumes all of your power, and your shields regenerate with power, your weapons regenerate with power. So you basically get to fire with it for about 2 seconds and then you run. and then you fire with it for 2 seconds and then you run. But it has the most damage in the game. Anyway, now what's very interesting about this bad path, good path thing is once you make it onto the good path and you're in the last couple mission scenarios, you can't leave the good path once you're at that point. So you could actually like eject from your ship and still win the game with the good path once you get to that point. So some other very interesting things. There's a character in the bar. It's the barkeeper. His name is Shot Glass.
Like you do.
Because why not?
Wow, you name your kid Shot Glass, you're kind of just giving them a destiny of their career choice, I guess, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
He's actually a famous dancer.
Yeah. But what's kind of funny is he keeps telling you that he used to be a pilot and he used to do what you did. And every time I'm watching this playthrough, I'm listening to him and I'm like, I used to be a great adventurer like you until I took an arrow to the knee.
Yeah.
Like this was the first iteration of this guy, right? Interesting also, ported to the SNES in 1992. Although I found out that basically they changed it because of the ability to render or not. It will never show more than one enemy on the screen at any given time.
Oh, so it's Dead Rising for the Wii.
That's funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There
Another
is
Nintendo problem, apparently.
Yeah, there is a fully voice acted version for the Sega CD that came out in '94.
Okay.
With actual good voice acting.
Nice.
The music. Oh my gosh. If you want to talk about a game that has they added so much variation to the music. Like it has variation to the music if you're being chased by an enemy, their name are the Kilrathi, versus if you're chasing a Kilrathi, it has a different rendition of that theme music. Very famously, an early MT32 audio MIDI game, and the soundtrack is absolutely fantastic. Let's see. I wanted to point out that the SNES version, they cut out any references to alcohol. So Shot Glass does not sell alcohol.
But his name is Shot Glass. Still.
I believe so.
Okay.
Really?
I was hoping they changed it to like
or
Sippy Cup or some shit.
Yeah,
right.
Sippy
Cup.
His name is Tapper.
Tapper. That's it.
But also what's interesting is the commander that gives you all of your missions and talks you through stuff is known for having a cigar in his mouth. Gone on the SNES version. So yeah.
Wild.
It's just a twig.
Yeah. Now, if you're looking to play this on modern times, you can buy it on GOG, but don't get the GOG version. There is actually a compilation that is Wing Commander 1, 2, and 3. I think it's called the Kilrathi Encounter or something like that. But they actually modernized it so that it gets and this in modern times sounds awful, but it's a solid 24 frames per second.
Oh wow. Cinematic.
Yeah, that's
Rad Racer had more frames.
Yeah. Yep.
But I always wanted to play this game, Sinistar. This has been on my list for a while to go back and give a shot because it's something I was aware of as a kid. To the point where I've actually seen the movie. I actually like the movie.
Okay.
And I know the Kilrathi by name, the cat people, right, that you fight in that movie.
Yeah.
So I was always curious to see how much of the games they actually had in the movie that was accurate, or if they just kind of got stupid with it. They probably got stupid with it. But I've always wanted to go back and play these games, mostly because I remember the cutscenes with Mark Hamill. I've seen those on YouTube.
Yeah.
Those look hilariously cheesy, right, in the like a Red Alert kind of a sense. So I've always wanted to play this. I'll have to go back and check this out. I'm amazed how much cockpit there is on the screen.
Yeah.
And the actual the gameplay is so small.
That is another interesting thing is on the version that I suggested you go play, the one that's the combination 1, 2, and 3, you can turn off the cockpit view and it will have little HUD display portions, but it gets rid of all of that bulky cockpit.
Okay. Yeah, I like that more, I think.
And the controls in that version are super responsive. It's one of those few games that like you feel, you're not fighting the controls. The controls actually feel very normal. So
Would this have been a mouse game or no, just keyboard?
I played this on joystick.
Okay.
Yeah.
For sure. So
Notice
now what's cool about this, and you can see this in the video on the bottom left of your cockpit, you'll see that there's like shields. So shields are marked in blue or gradients of blue, and then the red areas are your armor, and then your ship actually has a hit point scale as well. What's very cool is all of the hits in this game are positional. So if say they're shooting you from behind, if you can move around and get them in front of you, you get that much more ability to have your shields and stuff take more damage. So it's one of the very first like positional damage in a spaceship kind of things. So
yeah, I love that kind of stuff. I think was it Elite Dangerous had that. I mean, many years later, but I love that kind of style, like the Battletech system, right, where you have armor and hull points and stuff in certain areas. I love that stuff.
Yep.
The cinematics are pretty good too. I was not expecting like the mouth movements and everything. That's actually good looking.
No, they did a great job with all the cutscenes. A lot of the cutscenes are repetitive, like sitting down at the mission briefing.
Sure.
But what's kind of cool is they have a number of them, so that they play them randomly, so it shows different people sitting down at different times, stuff like that. So,
this game was like, if you didn't have a PC or you wanted a PC, this was the game to get. I specifically remember this being like, you get a PC, you get Wing Commander. You got to get Wing Commander.
Yeah,
this is not one that I played much of that I wanted to way back in the day. I didn't really get into flight sims until like X-Wing TIE Fighter days. That's when I really got into the space flight sim kind of shit. So I remember. Does this game have a throttle, or is it
no?
Okay,
no, it is you basically are constantly moving forward, other than you have an afterburner when you want to move faster,
right?
So
because I remember playing X-Wing and TIE Fighter and not being able to move because there's a throttle on there. I had no idea you had to use a throttle to go forward. So I'm just sitting there with debris spinning around me going, what am I supposed to do? And I press forward. Yeah, I press forward thinking that would make me go forward, and you dip. What the hell? And it's probably because of games like Wing Commander that had the built-in thruster already.
Right. No, this game was I played the hell out of this game. On top of this game being the standard mission, space simulator, go blow stuff up, there is a game in the series called Wing Commander Privateer. I love that game. It's a space simulator with fighting plus space trading. Like you actually can like carry cargo, go sell the cargo. You figure out your trade routes and all of that stuff. I loved Wing Commander Privateer. So
okay.
It reminds me of Freelancer, which is a game, again, much later on. I love the hell out of Freelancer for similar reasons, right? You had the combat, exploration, and then you had the trading, which was neat.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I would probably dig Wing Commander. I wish I had a chance to play it as a kid, because,
Anyway, well,
Good
thank you. So, Origin, one of the few non-RPG Origin games. So,
No, this is Origin? The Ultima Online guys? Okay.
Yeah, this actually, from what I understand, this might have saved Origin from dying when they were, because they had a long development cycle between, I think this was Ultima 5 to 6, and they basically revamped the entire Ultima system. And I think Chris Roberts came to them, of Star Citizen fame, came to them and said, hey, how about publishing this space game? And they're like, we're an RPG, group. And anyway, Yep. All right.
Always love it when they think out of the box.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Chard, how about your first game?
Well, we're going to settle ourselves back onto the ground, and we're going to pick another racing type game that I'm sure Jake will be a big fan of. This game came out for the 360, and I remember it being somewhere between 2007 2008, I think, is when this guy came out. This game is an open world-esque type game, and it takes racing to a whole new level. My pick is Burnout Paradise. Burnout Paradise has, just like all EA games, it's an amazing soundtrack. It has all the popular musicians on it. You know, Guns N' Roses doing Welcome to Paradise City.
But Rick, can I interject really quick?
Yeah, hit me.
I absolutely love the fuck out of this game.
This
But
game is awesome.
and I love a lot of Guns N' Roses, but this song or this game made me hate Paradise City.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because it's the first goddamn song you hear. But it's got like Jimmy Eat World and Avril Lavigne and other really cool artists.
KMFDM.
KMFDM's on here.
Yeah.
But so this game is basically a crash simulator. That's all it is. The whole point of this game is to just be aggressive. You just drive aggressively. You get cars that are modeled after real cars, but of course not the name of the real cars. You get Mustang looking things, Chevys, all kinds of crazy shit. And you just drive around the city, and at each stoplight there is a style.
It's an event. It's an event.
Yeah, it's an event. There's a race. There's a take down as many drivers as you can while you're driving. All kinds of stuff. And then of course,
survive as long as you can.
Yeah. Of course, hidden amongst the game are hidden jumps that you can do to unlock different cars. And there's bounty contracts you can do in the game where a car that you can get just appears on the map, and you have to go find it. And if you wreck that car, you get it in your junkyard. My favorite thing is all the cars you get dropped in your junkyard, and you go pick them up, and they look like total garbage until you fix them and drive them off. Your car shows damage.
Literally dropped.
Awesome.
Literally
your
dropped.
Front end gets totally smashed to shit. I mean, but you could still drive with it. You get boosters for doing stupid shit like driving on the opposite of traffic, weaving out of traffic, hitting jumps. You get rewarded for points for all this crazy stuff. Now, each one of your cars is not just it goes faster or goes slower or whatever. Each car can be used for a specific event to do better. So some cars are more heavily armored to do the contract stuff. Some cars are faster and quicker, but they wreck easier. There's a lot of really cool attributes to each car you can fit. Yeah, you can do the trick event cars.
Yeah.
This game has so much shit built into just a racing game that it is absolutely easy to just lose time in. It's like Grand Theft Auto to the point where you don't even have to do an event. You can just roll around the city and just wreck and have fun. And of course, when you wreck your car or you wreck somebody else's car, there's a slow motion cinematic that goes with the car flipping and twisting, and it's all jacked up in the front or back, wherever you hit it. It is the most exhilarating racing game I think I've ever played in my life, and I've easily lost hundreds of hours in Burnout Paradise. This game is incredible and super fun to play.
I kind of remembered you were going to talk about this, and I wanted to make a point. When I said Rad Racer on the NES felt fast, this game on modern hardware makes racing feel fast. Like once you get to a certain tier of, like, once you get going fast enough and you realize you are on a countdown to wrecking at some point very soon, it gives you that sense of like impending, like, oh, when's it gonna happen? When's it gonna happen? When's it gonna happen? Yeah.
You'll feel your body tense up the faster you get, because you know the minute you clip anything, you don't even have to hit it hard. You just rub against the side of a wall, your car's totaled. It's toast.
Tires fly off.
And each level you gain, you get a better driving permit. Like your driver's license get upgraded, so you could drive different styles of cars and whatnot. It's so cool. This game has just been way too much fun. It's available on Steam right now, as far as I know.
There's a remaster.
Yeah, the remaster on Steam is
the reviews on that are mixed.
My opinion, I think it's great. It plays fantastic. I love playing the hell out of it. I played this on the 360 for months. This game sat in my goddamn thing. Merv actually mentioned it. There's a crash zone where they set up, like, there's basically a 4-way crossing that you can unlock, and the whole point is to cause as much destruction as humanly possible. So you just throw your car as fast as you can into oncoming traffic, and just see what happens. And then you get points for all the things that you destroy. It
I
is
love-
way too much fun. This game
I
is
love
amazing.
I love heading into the mountains and
Mhm.
like finding the highest jump you can.
Yep.
And seeing if you can make it to the other side, but if you can't, it's still great because you just ram into a wall. Right.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
I would recommend this to anybody that likes
Yeah.
any kind of racing type sims. This is
Absolutely.
way too much fun. Way
Yeah,
too
for
much fun.
those who are watching the video, this is the PC version and it says 4K 60. So I'd imagine this is the remaster. I don't think this is the original.
I'm sure it is.
I'm gonna go
Looks
check
like
out the
a remaster.
original because the Xbox 360. I love my 360. It was really great
Yeah,
for
no,
racing
it-
games, right?
It
And a
looked
lot of
good on
games look
360.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this
This
is definitely
game had
one
a
I should
lot
check
of
out.
shine and gloss to it that I really appreciated.
Yeah.
It was extremely well polished, and the world
Yeah.
around you looked really good too. It's
Yeah.
not like they just like cookie cuttered some stuff in. Like
Right.
everything around you looked really good.
Was this like the origin of a whole like the open world but cars genre? Was this the catalyst for that? Because I know that the more recent Forza Horizon games have that style.
Yeah.
There was an MMO, Need for Speed, I want to say, had
well, I
some
know-
open world elements, but I think that
I-
all
Need for
came after
Speed, I
this
think,
one.
was more into it than Burnout was.
Well, and I
Burnout's
know-
direction was a lot more about destruction and chaos, whilst
Okay.
Need for Speed was more about racing and finding your way around stuff. And then Forza came in and did it better, in
Well,
certain aspects.
And there were other Burnout games as well, so I don't
Yeah.
know if they had the open world first.
Right.
But Paradise, I mean, I don't know. To me, this is
Pinnacle.
this honestly is like the wreck simulator.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just wrecking. Like there's more,
Yeah.
there's so much more
Oh,
to
yeah.
it. Like on the surface, you think, well, I can crash my car. That's cool. And it
Yeah.
looks cool when you do it, but it's so much deeper than it actually like would appear. Cause
Yeah.
whenever I played a racing game, like you play Gran Turismo or something like that, in the PS2 era and all that stuff, I was so mad because the cars didn't show a lot of damage. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's kind of the fun, is kind of jacking up your car. It's one of the reasons I really like Grand Theft Autos because the cars show damage and whatnot. But then you got Burnout Paradise was basically, it was the Gran Turismo that I'd always wanted, where the cars it's just all about destruction. It is literally all about wrecking anything. And it's not destruction derby-esque PS1 stuff. This game had so many layers to it. It's a beautiful layer of cake. It's so
No,
good.
it's
great.
this is a racing game first. It's not Carmageddon. It's a racing
No.
game first.
Right.
Although when you're doing the takedown challenges, there's nothing that feels better than like that slow-mo, like you clip your enemy and you just see him like
Yeah, hit the wall and it slows
Uh-huh.
down. And then
Yeah.
it's like you're on a kill streak and you're like, yeah, fuck
Yep.
yeah, I am. And you just keep on fucking taking everything out. Dude, this game is an adrenaline rush from
Yeah.
front to back. It is just too good. Too good.
highly recommend if you don't have it.
Yeah.
I know that the reviews are mixed. Throw it on your wish list. Buy it when it's on sale. It's on sale pretty
Well-
frequently from what I remember.
It's worth it.
It's weird that the remaster has mixed reviews when the original game, I've never heard a bad thing about it.
I think the remaster has mixed reviews, possibly because I think they took the online offline or the online
it may.
offline
That could be true.
not too long
That
ago.
could be
That's
true.
probably why. So
Right.
I
Oh.
imagine that's what it
Yeah.
was. Because I look at
There could be
Wikipedia.
complaining about the porting too, but I haven't had a
Well,
single issue.
Wikipedia was saying that the remaster had positive reviews when it came out. So something between when it came out and now has brought the reviews down. So
Well,
I don't
and
know.
let's-
Steam reviewers
let's-
are a fickle bunch, right? So who
Yeah.
knows what set them off.
if you're worried about the online really, there's no like competitive online. You can't play with somebody else live. What you do is you can see the live scores from somebody else and you can try to beat their scores in the events or whatever.
Right.
So it's not like it takes out any functionality other than the ability to compete with somebody else's score.
Leaderboards.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And that's
So, yeah.
not much missing from the game, honestly.
Yeah.
No, not at this rate.
Yeah, I've never played this. I've had it on Steam for I don't know how long. Long enough to where it was before Steam actually tracked when you got a game, because I have no recorded information on it according to Steam.
Nice.
Nice.
So-
Yeah.
But I've never played it. I have played Burnout Revenge,
Okay.
and it sounds like it's an open world Burnout Revenge, and Revenge was an absolute blast.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Oh, this
That's
game
how
is
it feels.
this game is a banger. It is a banger.
It's a lot of fun. Just unlocking all the cars that you can get just keeps you going. Like, oh, the next car that comes out and the next cool thing you can go and find. I actually have a Knight Rider variant car that's in there that has the scanner in the front and the whole,
Nice.
when you go super pursuit mode, all the things open up while you're driving. There's a, I think there's a like a DeLorean-esque looking type car.
Yeah,
There's a
a
Ghostbusters type
pack.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of stuff. And I think if you
Yeah.
buy the Burnout that's on Steam, you get all that stuff for free. So of course, I've been driving around with kids for the last 2 years.
Sinstress can attest. This was very commonly a game that a couple of my friends would come over on my 360. We'd get drunk and just see how fast we could get going.
Yep.
And how long we could last. Like that was like the whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a good game. It's a good game. Good game to drive drunk with your friends too.
Yes. Yeah. In games, people
In
don't
games
do that
only,
in real life.
yes.
Yeah, not in real life. Not in real life. Please don't do that in real life.
Funnily enough, the manual for going back to Courier Crisis, the manual actually has a page that says legal blurb, and it talks about how like this is a video game. Don't do all the violent stuff
don't
in
do
this
all
game
this
in
shit.
real
Don't
life.
punch grandma on a
Go
bike.
ahead and try the tricks and stuff with practice. Do that at home. Don't do the rest.
No
of this at
drop
home.
kicking children skating through town.
Yeah.
Please don't do that. Because that looks fun. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No,
you just made me think of that, and I thought that was pretty funny, and I forgot to mention it.
So
No,
yeah,
so-
Burnout Paradise. That's my pick for.
It's a,
I think
Cars
that's a good pick.
decision.
I want to.
Yeah,
I
such a
gotta
good
install
pick.
that on my Steam Deck.
such a good pick. Such a good
Do it.
pick.
Probably gonna play that tonight before I go to bed.
Yeah, especially if it plays well on the Steam Deck. That is like
Yeah.
Steam Deck fodder.
Oh, it's
Holy
It's
over.
got to
crap.
run on the
Yeah.
Steam Deck now, right? It has to.
Oh,
'cause
it
that game
plays
came
great.
at the sequel's
Plays fantastic.
2021 or the remaster.
Yeah.
I bet it runs fine.
Remaster's 2018. The original is
Oh, yeah.
2009.
Yeah.
I bet
Oh,
you
I
it
was
runs
close.
just fine.
I was in that area. I remember because I got component cables for my 360
Yep.
and got to plug them into the first like flat screens,
Man,
and it was the coolest goddamn thing I'd ever seen in my life.
God.
It was so
Yep.
good.
the 360 was such a great machine, man. I love my 360.
was.
We should do.
I
An
still
episode on
have
the
mine.
360.
I still have mine. Yeah.
Oh my
I-
gosh! How did I not? The reason I bought my 360 was because of the planes, trains, and automobiles. I didn't even think to
You
list
wanted
this game,
Forza?
but no. I wanted Just Cause 2.
Oh,
Ah.
there you go. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
I
I
have
didn't even
that.
think
I
of
got
that
in
one
the
for
box set.
tonight.
Yeah. All right. Well, I know we each picked two. I'm gonna say we could do another round, but just FYI, I think we're coming up on an hour.
we're
Yeah,
past
we
it.
are. Yeah, we're past an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy to talk if you guys want.
It's all
Unless
that
we
Rad
wanna do,
Racer
like, a
loving
quick
we
round
had. What a
robin.
great game, right, guys? Rad Racer, so good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What did you say, Wolf?
Said unless we want to do like a quick round robin where we only take like a minute or two each.
Yeah, we can do that.
We could do that.
I might
All right.
save mine because I actually do want to talk about mine in depth a bit more,
Okay.
so I'll save mine. But I'll
Why
talk
don't
about
we-
my turbo racing if you guys want for a couple minutes.
Well,
Okay.
Unless we
Why
want to
don't-
do,
why don't
I've got
we-
plenty to say about mine.
Why don't we plan to do a part 2 of this
Okay.
coming up sometime soon?
Okay.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just know
Down
that
for that.
we tend to run 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, that'll give me a chance to play the other game again that I wanted to talk about and like revisit.
Let's
a
be
little bit.
fair.
It's been a long
We
time.
all love doing this, and
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't feel like we have another hour until we look back and go,
Right.
"Shit, that episode was 2 hours and 45 goddamn minutes."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
at least we have
Like-
a timekeeper that's keeping our wives happy, so we can get out of here.
Yeah. Like when Jake and I did that Pokemon episode, we were like, oh yeah, this will be a short one.
Yeah.
now.
45 minutes tops. It's Pokemon.
I don't know how many times Jake and I have done an episode being like, yeah, we should be done with this in 35, 40 minutes. 2
Right.
hours later.
Yeah.
And that's without the fodder. That's from start to
crazy.
finish.
All right.
I
well,
feel like the
some-
fewer of us there are, the easier that is to
The
do.
longer it goes.
Yeah, definitely trails on.
yeah. Well, okay, then we will soon plan a part 2
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
planes, trains, automobiles, and spaceships. Yeah. Okay.
Question.
Well, all right. So what do we want to let's see. So first off, we are a part of the Jake, roll us here. Roll us here.
Superpod Network.
Superpod
They
Thank
can be
you.
found at
Yes.
superpodnetwork.com.
See, I'm not the only one.
I haven't
Oh.
hosted in a very long time. So yeah. Okay, we're part of the Superpod Network. Which has Superpod Saga, which has the 3DO Experience.
The 3DO Experience podcast of Bill and Thrack.
Remember
I did episode
64.
with them. Remember
Yep,
64?
Remember 64.
Yeah,
Yep.
which we've had Dave on here before as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So go check out superpodnetwork.com.
Thank you, Sinistar.
Also, go check out our website, pressbtocancel.com or pressb.org. We have a Discord. We love chatting with people. Tell us your games that you love that are automobile, space trains, automobiles, cars, boats, bicycles, tricycles, tricycles. And yeah, give us a subscribe here on YouTube if you're listening or watching on YouTube. Catch us at all of your favorite podcast sources. If we're not there, complain to Jake.
I'll fix
but
it.
All right. Okay. So friends, what are you up to? Jake, what are you up to right now?
Please go follow Sick Jake on YouTube. I will be doing something there as soon as I'm done my shitty season at work. Otherwise, for the podcast stuff, I've been doing a round of networking and guesting on other people's shows. You will soon hear me on Retro Wars UK with Danny. We finally got around to recording an episode about Battletoads. Did we beat it? Find out. Spoilers, I didn't.
I know that. I already know that one.
But that'll be coming out soon.
We spent a year talking about that.
if only somebody in this podcast used to speedrun Battletoads who could have given me tips. I don't know. That's okay.
No, I didn't
As well, I just recorded an episode of Remember 64 with Dave and Jiggy Look Back. So that'll be coming out, I believe, next week. I'll post on our socials. You can also find me, Sick Jake, over on Blue Sky. It's pretty much the only social media I use these days, or, of course, on Discord. But, yeah, I've been trying to do rounds of guesting on other people's shows, and then I'm going to get back to working on some of my stuff and some stuff for Press B, hopefully in March, as soon as work dies down.
Nice. Wulff, what are you up to?
This.
Sweet.
I keep meaning to do more, and I don't. So I'm not going to promise crap right now.
We get it, man. We get it.
Yeah,
Hey,
sure.
for those that have been keeping track, we sold our old house.
Yeah,
so I have
you
less.
did.
Yay!
I have less keeping my time. Okay. Anyway, Chard Monk, what are you up to?
First of all, everybody here, if they're not already doing it, please go and follow Press B to Cancel over on Twitch. We are trying to get a little bit more of a presence at Twitch. We usually only do the show, like we said, every Friday, and then every now and then there'll be some kind of post or blurb up on the YouTube. But Twitch, unfortunately, has been getting a little bit ignored. So what we are trying to do as a team, especially me and Sinistar, is we're going to kind of shift our streaming schedules from our personal channels over to Press B to Cancel channels. So you can catch myself over there probably this weekend playing something. I played Wukong last Sunday, but because we talked about it today, I might play some Burnout. I don't know. We might just go around and jump around there and kind of goof around and do some stuff. There's not going to be a lot of planning, but we'll probably, when I do it, will be more or less something that maybe we discussed on Friday, and we're just kind of playing it together and doing from whatever. But yeah, we're going to be having a little bit more of a presence over there. So the Chard Monk streams might come to a little bit of a lull for a bit as we work on the Press B thing. I have already finished my Sisyphean game, and I started my stretch goal and was playing Doom Eternal for a bit, but I kind of need a break. So I've been playing Wukong, been playing all kinds of other stuff. This Moonlight Sunlight thing that Jake has got me attracted to is absolutely spectacular for the Steam Deck. So I've been playing a lot of that stuff in bed and whatnot before I go to sleep. It's been fantastic. Grand Theft Auto, let's go. But go check us out over on Twitch. Give us a follow over there. You can follow me over on Twitch, Chardmonk /ChardMonk.tv, all that crap. You know where I'm at. You know where to find me. And let's get those numbers over at Twitch up, because we're trying to get we want to get that affiliate this year. So help us help you guys. Let's get that bad boy affiliate. Other than that, you can find me here with these wonderful gentlemen doing the same thing we do every Friday, having way too much fun for way too long.
Sweet. Well, and I occasionally, I guess most Mondays, I have an alternate personality, DJ Sinistar, over on Twitch. I do DJing, industrial 80s, and whatever the fuck I feel like. And I am trying to figure out an evening, might be Tuesday, might be Thursday evening, where I, as Chard Monk said, do some stuff here on the Press B to Cancel Twitch. I'm thinking I might do my Sisyphean Cyberpunk 2077 over there to get my ass off my ass and play my Sisyphean challenge. Jake?
Hey,
Anyway,
I've
This close.
installed and
I was this
reinstalled
close to play
Half-Life 2
Half-Life last weekend.
at
This
least 4
close.
times. Yeah.
I might play it anyways. I might play the VR version of Half-Life 2. I'm this close.
I have lots of
anyway,
time. I got at least 6 to 7 months or so.
Yeah, sure.
I know, I
there you
lost
go.
track.
So do I, Jake. So do I.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I at least have never uninstalled my game. It just sits there and
Just sits there.
and it just sits there and collects dust on my SSD. Look, I give myself grief. I know I haven't played.
I
the
only
shit
have
out
a
of my
terabyte
game.
of space left. I'm sorry I don't have 10 terabyte drives like you guys. I only got a terabyte to
No
spare.
outlets and no terabytes.
I can't
There's a
uninstall
rough place to
Warframe.
be.
They're
I
Canadian.
was
They're going to
gonna
come after
say,
me. They're in London. Like,
He
I
has
was
a
gonna
square to spare.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Jake, how many installs of Circus Charlie do you have on there?
No shit.
thankfully, that's on the Mister
Wow.
behind me, so it's not taking up precious megs of space in my hard drive. I should get a new hard
Anyway,
drive.
folks.
No, but the
we,
benchmark is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Look, that was very necessary to find out if I could run Monster Hunter Wilds, and that that comes out next week, guys.
Yes, it does.
I
Yeah,
may not be
good
playing my
luck.
Sisyphean
Bye.
game for a while.
Yeah. I might be with you. I'm glad I finished mine.
Yeah. Anyway, we have been Press B to Cancel. Until next Friday, we don't know who will be, but we appreciate you all being here, and have a great rest of your week, night, day.
Oh, won't you
Hello?
please take me home?